I am so confused about GMOs and biosafety. There is so much scary information on the internet.
I'm not sure if what you read are myths or facts.
Why should we even bother about all these information?
It is important for you to know because you will participate in decision making when we approve new GMOs for field trials, import and consumption.
Yes, it is important for you to get science-based information so you help us to make decisions on approvals.
Tell us what you've heard about GMOs and we will try to clarify your concerns.
GMOs can easily enter Sri Lanka as food, feed and seeds.
Sri Lanka has National Biosafety Regulatory Framework in place. The Ministry of Environment, Central Environmental Authority and the relevant sectoral competent authorities are the responsible authorities, and they have regulations to ensure only approved GMOs enter the country. All traders, public and scientists must apply to the relevant competent authority for approval before they are allowed to bring in GMOs.
GMOs that are approved in other countries can be imported into Sri Lanka.
All GMOs must go through local approval process, regardless of their approval status in other countries.
GMOs are not suited for Sri Lanka as we do not have the expertise to assess their safety.
Sri Lanka has experts in biosafety and biotechnology who are capable to conducting risk assessment for GMOs before they are approved. Continuous capacity building programs are conducted by local experts.
Sri Lanka does not have laboratories to detect GMOs.
The following are laboratories that have the facilities to detect GMOs: National Plant Quarantine Services, Industrial Technology Institute, Agricultural Biotechnology Centre, University of Peradeniya, Government Analysts Department.
Sri Lanka does not have any biosafety laws and regulations in place.
Sri Lanka is a party to the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety and has an obligation to have a biosafety regulatory framework in place. The Biosafety Act is being enacted. Meanwhile, the National Biosafety Framework addresses laws related to the environment and food and implements biosafety in the country.
All GMOs are unsafe.
GMOs that are approved are safe as experts have evaluated their risks. They are approved only after thorough risk assessment.
Only GM crops and food contain genes and DNA.
The reality is, all living organisms have genes, and we eat an average of 0.1 to 1 gram of DNA daily.
The genetic makeup of crops is altered only when breeding is done using genetic modification method.
All breeding methods cause alteration in the genetic makeup of the crops. In hybridization, the genetic exchange takes place between related species. In mutation, genetic changes happen randomly due to irradiation and exposure to chemicals. In genetic modification, genes from unrelated species are added into commercial crops.
GM foods are dangerous and unhealthy.
GM food are nutritionally and chemically similar to non-GM counterparts, unless the new trait in the GM crop is intentionally altered to improve their nutritional profile, such as higher vitamin A. GM foods are exhaustively assessed for safety. Any unsafe GMOs are not approved for commercial use.
GM crops are damaging to the environment.
Environment safety is assessed before GM crops are approved. Approvals are not given if there are risks that cannot be managed. In some cases, GM crops have reduced the use of pesticides.
Modern biotechnology is new and unproven science.
Modern biotechnology is nearly 30 years old. And the GM crops that are in the market today have gone through regulatory approval to ensure that they are safe to the environment and human health.
GMOs can change your DNA when you consume them.
GMOs do not change our DNA. All foods that we eat have DNA, and they do not alter our DNA. All DNA that we consume is digested.
GM foods cause cancer.
Today, there is no evidence to support that GM food causes cancer. There are few GM foods that reduce the risk of cancer, such as pink pineapple and potato low in acrylamide, which is a carcinogen.
GMOs are not adequately tested for safety.
GMOs are more stringently tested and regulated to ensure their safety. None of the crops that are bred using conventional method go through regulations and tests.